Welcome back everyone to PKIdeas, and today we have a new Road to Glory series in the rapid settings of 15 minutes each. Ta-da! So how this is going to work is that each week I'll be playing 2 games on Chess24, and how I play is mainly controlled by you, the audience. This is the first round, so you can't really control how this goes, and it's also pre-recorded. So how this works is that each week you will comment on the videos as to what you want me to play as white and as black in terms of openings, and I have to play that opening in the next round. I will only be picking the highest upvoted comment from each color, so please upvote your existing comments. The series will end as soon as we reach a rating of above 2000. For every game that I lose, I will be donating $5 to charity of your choice. Once again, if you want your charity to be selected, you have to subscribe and comment down below as to what it is. At the end of the series, I will be counting the charities mentioned and voted the most and be donating to that charity. And so with that being said, here we go. Here are the previews of the first 2 games, followed by the analyses. Okay, so now that you've seen the 2 previews of the games, let's go into them deeper. And so here is the first game that I played against Mr. Guest. His number is too long, so it'll be up above the board. So the game started off with the first move, e4, followed by c5, bishop c4, e6, knight f3, knight c6, knight c3, a6. So he played d4, followed by c takes d4, knight takes d4, bishop to c5, knight takes c6, b takes c6, queen to g4. So white brings his queen out early, and this just means that the pawn on g7 is attacked. So here, if we look at an assessment, the game is quite equal. This left-hand side bar shows it all, 0.13, so slightly towards white, but that's only because he had the first move. So now I play queen to f6, followed by castles, d5, e takes d5, c takes d5, and bishop to d3. So in this position, we also see that white has gained a slight advantage on me. 0.13 has now turned to 0.29. Here, the best move in this case is knight to h6, which is what I played, followed by queen to f4. Now here, instead of queen to f4, queen to h5 was kind of possible, where I have to play something like bishop to e7, and he could give me a pretty crappy pawn structure in the king side if he does bishop takes h6, queen takes h6, queen takes h6, and g6. But what I played and what he played in this position is queen to f4, as we saw before, so I just happily take the queens off the board. Queen takes f4, bishop takes f4, followed by castles. So assessment in this position 0.38. So it isn't necessarily really horrible for me. White's pieces are working more effectively together. Mine are a bit jumbled up with the bishop on c8. But h3 was played. So bishop to d4, bishop takes h6, bishop takes c3, b takes e3, g takes h6. So I took one pair of bishops off the board simply because I needed it to be a rook ending. The rook ending here is much simpler because he's got double pawns on the c file, which I can exploit, but he has to swing the rooks all the way to the c file, which I can exploit, but he has to swing the rooks all the way to the basic plan in this position. So g4, e5, f4, e4, bishop e2, h5, king h2, h takes g4, rook g1, and king to h8. So we see that the slight advantage that white actually had is now gone back to 0.00 equal. Now h takes g4 was played, f6, f5, so he's advancing his pawns down the board. Bishop to d7, rook a d1, bishop c6. I'm guarding my pawn, which he just attacked by playing rook a to d1. King to g3, rook f c8, c4, d takes c4. Here my 2 pawns in the center have been broken up by his c4 move, which is quite a good use of exchanging the double pawns. Not only is he getting rid of his double pawns, he's also creating more activity for his piece play. So bishop takes c4, bishop a4, bishop b3, rook to c3 check. Now king f4, bishop to c6. Here what I'm doing is I'm threatening rook to f3, and what he played in this position is to play rook to d3. Unfortunately, this is not a good move, and he paid the consequences for it. He got checkmated in a few moves. But rook to g3 was also possible, after which rook takes g3, and he might be actually better in this position. So I'm not actually very happy with how I played in this game. So I think that I could have played much better in this position, especially before when taking the c pawn. I could have played rook to d8 as well, try and keep the central activity of my pieces. But this was how the game went down. Rook to d3, e takes d3, c takes d3, rook takes d3, and what I'm doing is I'm threatening rook to f3 checkmate. Here he completely missed it, played rook to c1, after which rook to f3 was played, and that was the end of the game. Okay, so it's time for the second game with me versus Manu77. We start off the game with the first move d4, followed by d5, e3, e6, c4, bishop b4 check, bishop d2, bishop takes d2, queen takes d2, and knight to f6. In this position, we see that everything has been developed normally. White has moved his queen up, but it's not really detrimental since none of the black pieces can really attack the queen straight away and gain a tempo. So after knight to f3, castle c5, followed by b6, b4, a5, and c takes b6, c takes b6, b takes a5, b takes a5. In this position, we see that the queen side has been opened up quite quickly. So what white has to do is try and get out his pieces as quickly as possible and try and castle towards the king side to make sure that his pieces are safe. What black has to do in this position is kind of also develop his pieces and try to gain an attack down the queen side. So here we see bishop to b5, development of pieces, knight to e4, queen to d3, a4, knight b to d2. So white is going to develop his pieces, and here the assessment is that black is much better in this position. I play queen to a5, pinning his knight first of all, also attacking his bishop, so the queen on d3 is kind of overloaded in this situation. Castles was played. As you can see, this black bar is moving closer and closer towards me. It's minus 2.1, black is 2.01. Black is winning, even if it is in the 14th move. So bishop to b7, that was not necessarily a good move, as the computer is showing right over here. I think better in that position was playing maybe knight to c3. What knight to c3 does is that it completely traps the bishop in here, and so the bishop is unable to move out, and hence white just loses a piece. So I completely missed that during the game because I wanted to keep the pressure on sort of the knight on d2. So bishop to b7 was what I played, further developing my pieces, and I wanted to stop knight takes e4. How I stop this is if knight takes e4, d takes e4, then he is forked, which means that he also loses the knight on f3 if he moves away the queen. So rook a to b1, knight to a6, developing my pieces, knight takes e4, d takes e4, and queen to d2. So queen to d2, forcing the queens off the board and also saves this knight from the fork. So I play knight to b4, and then queen takes b4, e takes f3, and I kind of force him to take the initiative and try and capture some of my pieces. So queen takes a5, rook takes a5, g takes f3, and bishop takes f3. Here you can see that his kingside in a bit of a jumble here, and that my bishop on f3 is quite strong, and his king safety is rather quite lacking. So rook f to c1, g6, rook to c5, rook b8, and then h4. So he starts pushing the pawn towards h4, trying to create some counterplay over on the king side, but I'm completely stopping him by playing king g7, king h2, bishop to e4, attacking his rook. He plays king to g3, which is a complete mistake, and I think he realized it straight away after I played bishop takes b1, and he resigned. So that was pretty much a short game to analyze. So in this position, we saw that by using simple tactics, I was able to open up the king side quite quickly, and that made him sort of vulnerable to those type of attacks, which involve the principle of two weaknesses, where both there are weaknesses on the king side as well as the queen side. The weakness on the queen side was this overloaded bishop over here, the fact that the bishop couldn't move without losing the rook, was one of the major themes in this game, so make sure to look out for those. So as I said before, if you guys enjoyed this, please leave a like down below. You are the people that are controlling how I play, so always make sure to go down and comment on which opening I should play next. So how you should do this is that if you should talk about, if I am black in a game, what should I play if e4 happens, and what should I play if d4 happens, and if I am white in a game, should I play e4 or d4. And white, you have more control over the opening, so always make sure to write down, if you want me to play a Queen's Gambit, write down Queen's Gambit, and also I will be choosing the comment with the highest amount of votes. So if someone says Queen's Gambit and you agree with him, please upvote his comment, and that would mean that I will be playing that opening in the next round. So these uploads will be happening around weekly. If I have time, I'll probably do it bi-weekly, but it's currently weekly. And as I said before, if I lose a game, $5 go to a charity of your choice. If you want to suggest charity, please subscribe first. Also, if you want to subscribe just normally, then you can do so without suggesting anything. So just hit that subscribe button for me. If you liked the video, hit that like button. If you want your comments upvoted, get your friends into this. Get your friends to follow my channel, and that way you can make sure that your comments get upvoted. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.